Hi, I'm Chad Crawford, host of How to Do Florida. Over the past decade, I've taken you on some incredible adventures throughout the Sunshine State. Sadly, within that time, 3 major hurricanes have claimed the lives of hundreds of people and done billions of dollars in damage here in Florida. Throughout history, more than 40% of the landfalling hurricanes have impacted our state. Today, we're taking you on a different kind of Florida adventure. You'll watch as we help a family on Florida's West Coast prepare their home for the worst Mother Nature can serve up. From the windows,
the hurricane's in the house,
to the roof.
The more movement that roof has, the higher the opportunity for it to get blown off.
To the very tops of the trees. We'll see our homeowners make life-saving upgrades, and we'll also check in with meteorologist Elizabeth Hart on location from one of our latest catastrophic hurricanes. She'll share fascinating stories from Florida's long hurricane history and go in depth on wind speed and the damage it can inflict on your home. In this special edition of How to Do Florida, get hurricane ready. Today, we're meeting with Scott and Clarissa Perks to find out what their home needs to get hurricane ready.
Good to see you.
Tell me about this neighborhood.
We love this neighborhood. This is our house, it's our home. Our kids have grown up here, the schools are great, all of it. We love it.
Talk about living in an older home.
So living in an older home has pros and cons. The pros are, beautiful hardwood floors, and a lot of the interior of the home is still original. The architecture is very cool. We are constantly having to fix things. It's always a work in progress.
Storms. We have a lot here in Florida. What was the last memory you guys have of being in this house in a storm?
So the last big storm that we had, meteorologists were talking about the wind gusts in particular. It was scary because of the windows, the amount of oak trees in our neighborhood and in our yard.
Every time a storm comes, we get a little nervous. A couple of them look like they're gonna come right at us.
Yeah.
And it's very unnerving. Yeah, you don't like seeing that track go. And then I worry about if the house is gonna stand up. I worry about the roof flying off and all of it.
The Perks take me on a tour of their home, pointing out what they think could be dangerous in a storm.
Well, it's super old, all right? It's like
Super old.
1928.
1928.
These are the original windows here.
Yeah.
This one isn't.
Yep.
This one's problematic.
I mean, this feels like a little bit of a vulnerable point at the house. Is that correct?
Yes, it feels like it's got a target, like it's asking for a projectile, to come
right
through
here.
it.
The Perks' nearly 1,500 square foot home got a new roof just 11 years ago, so they're hopeful it has a few more years left on it. Besides the windows, the other big concern is this giant laurel oak in the backyard. What do you guys know about the health of the tree?
Well, we actually had a couple of guys knock on our door, tree guys, and they said both of them looked at it and said that, it needed to come out. It was hugely expensive. We want to keep the tree.
To remove this tree would really change the dynamic of your whole home.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't imagine coming into our
Right.
backyard without the tree being here.
So we want to keep the tree. That's the goal, right?
Yes.
Well, look, I have some good news. We're going to bring in a team of professionals. They're going to help get your home ready for the next hurricane here in Florida. They're going to be window people, doors, arborists. We're going to come in and do an inspection on your home and do what we can to get your home in a better position to be ready for the next hurricane. Does that sound good?
Yes.
Yeah, sounds
Great
great.
news.
Sounds fantastic.
Today, the Perks are getting a full inspection from Glenn Stevens, who is with the Florida Association of Building Inspectors.
Hey, Glenn.
Hey.
How you doing? All right.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you. Ready to do your inspection this morning?
Yes, sir.
All right, so we're going to start on your doors and windows, walk around the full perimeter, take a look at those items. I am going to look at your roof line and then crawl up into your attic space.
Oh, all right. Into the attic, huh?
Yeah, we got to get into the attic. So when I'm inside the attic, I'm going to look at the how your roof is attached to your rafters, as well as how your rafters are attached to your walls.
Glenn will spend about 45 minutes assessing what could be upgraded to make the Perks home hurricane ready under the My Safe Florida Home program guidelines. During his inspection, he'll focus on 6 different parts of the Perks home and determine if there's room for improvement.
The My Safe Florida Home program upgrades include reinforcing roof-to-wall connections, improving strength of the roof deck attachment, improving roof covering, adding secondary water barrier resistance, upgrading windows to impact resistance, or installing shutters, upgrading the doors, including the garage doors, to impact resistance.
Coming up, it doesn't take Glenn long to find trouble.
This home right now, if we had a hurricane today, it wouldn't be ready for it.
In a neighborhood with tons of vintage charm, Scott and Clarissa Perks' 1928 wood frame home fits right into this close-knit community.
It's very walkable, so when my kids were little, they walked to their friends.
I still like it. I still, every day, go out and feel good walking around the neighborhood. 24 years later, that's pretty cool, I think.
But after a close call with the last major hurricane, they know they need to make some safety upgrades. Professional inspector Glenn Stevens is here to find out what the Perks can do to protect their family. Glenn starts with the front door.
Now, it's an older door. Fortunately, there's tempered glass in the door, but it's not impacted in any way, shape, or form.
Then he moves on to the large window in front of the house.
It is an awning window. It was an upgrade probably in the late 80s, early 90s, and it's just thin pane glass. With these awning windows, they actually somewhat weaker than the original windows.
Glenn takes photos of everything he sees, so the Perks will have a visual reference in their final report. Next up is the roof. We'll check the shingles on the front as well, as the flat roof covers the back of the house.
This home had the roof replaced about 11 years ago, and it was actually done pretty well. It has the secondary water resistance. From a roofing standpoint, this roof already meets the guidelines for that.
Saving the toughest job for last, Glenn will climb into the only entrance to the attic. He navigates the tiny space through the piles of insulation with a clearance of only about 2 feet at its highest point.
Once I'm inside that attic, I'm looking at the spacing of nails, nail length, how the roof deck actually attaches to those rafters or trusses, and then more importantly, how those rafters and trusses attach to the walls, to the structure. You know, what kind of connectors are there? Has it been upgraded at some point? And this home has it, and that's really the weakest element in our entire home.
Glenn, you had a chance to inspect the Perks house. What are we dealing with here?
So a typical 1920s house.
Yeah.
Not the structural elements that we see in today's building.
Okay.
So for the roof-to-wall connections, predominantly, this is how those rafters are attached to the walls. Upgrading those to a metal clip or to a strap would be the ideal measure.
So you're talking about how the roof is attached to the house, essentially.
Oh yeah, definitely. It holds it in place so it doesn't have as much movement.
Yeah.
The more movement that roof has, higher the opportunity for it to get blown off.
So no roof straps. What else did you find, Glenn?
Opening protection. All the doors and windows are non-impact.
Okay.
And definitely do not have any form of shutter protection. You've got the front door and one window are just not appropriate for this home.
How are those windows vulnerable to a storm? Give me a scenario.
So, older neighborhood as this is, all it takes is some debris to go into the home, break a window. Once we've broken the envelope,
Yeah.
now our roof becomes more susceptible to the uplifts of winds.
What are you going to recommend for this house?
Definitely, I'm going to recommend having the roof-to-wall connections installed.
Okay.
And this is a mechanical connector, okay, that is attached directly to the rafter and to the wall structure itself.
Okay.
It's been tested, and it meets our building code standards for today. The other thing I'm going to recommend is to either replace some of the doors and windows with impact resistant and install some storm shutters or some form of storm protection.
I was shocked when I saw the report and how much work we're going to have to do to get ready for hurricane season.
Yeah, I know the roof, I was surprised at that. He says we need tie downs and the window in the front.
Yeah, with the aluminum frame.
And the door also.
The door was very flimsy. We kind of knew that that wasn't really going to withstand.
Yeah, but it's still a lot more than I thought, and I thought we were in a little better shape than what we were, but I guess not.
The Perks decide to add the roof tie-downs and replace the aluminum window as well as the front door. We're also bringing in a team of arborists to make sure that beautiful mature oak can withstand the next storm.
Jordan, we're here in the Perks backyard,
Right.
Underneath a pretty oak tree, right? But it's big, right? It's
Right.
a giant oak tree. And they've literally kind of incorporated this tree into their backyard, built this nice deck around it. What kind of condition is it in?
Well, that's why we're here. So we're in great shape. We're starting out with a great specimen. What I like to see in a tree is a ton of leaves. This tree has not been habitually over-pruned.
Right.
So as the arborist, I have a ton of ingredients to work with.
Right.
So we're working on the outer portions of the canopy. We're making a lot of small cuts on the extended branches over the home to shorten those limbs and take some of that terminal load off so they're less likely to fail in a weather event.
Coming up,
Oh my gosh.
every time the Perks see a hurricane coming, they do their best to protect their home.
Couldn't get any plywood, and I took a fence that my neighbor, he was rebuilding his fence, and I stuck the fence on top of the window because I was worried, and what else was I going to do?
After nearly a quarter of a century in this home, they've had it with boarding up before a storm and have decided to replace the front window and door to impact resistant. While Scott and Clarissa clear the way, the team gets to work.
Good gosh. Chad, what do you think about these windows?
I think it's time for these to be replaced. I can see why they called us to come change these out. Certainly no hurricane protection. It looks like this room was once a porch and they enclosed it, and probably these windows were installed in the 80s.
I mean, obviously single pane. I mean, what kind of protection does a window like this offer?
No protection at all, none from hurricane.
I mean, we're in a neighborhood with a lot of mature landscaping, a lot of big oak trees here. Limb hits this window, what happens?
The hurricane's in the house. This is gonna break from any tree limb hitting this. I mean,
While the team removes the old window and preps the opening for the new impact-resistant glass, we decide to have a little construction fun and find out what it takes to breach single-pane glass.
Well, Tat, look, we're about to attempt to put this limb through the old windows here. How much force is this gonna take?
not much force at all. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to get through there.
Not
pretty
much?
easily. Yeah.
Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
I mean, look at this. I mean, these big chunks of glass.
With a hurricane, once this glass is breached and this glass is broken, now it's flying at 130 miles per hour through the home. So, you know, yes, the hurricane's in, but it's also very dangerous if you're in there that you could be hit with a piece of this glass.
Inspector Glenn says if your windows or doors are breached, it's just the beginning of what could be a much bigger problem.
Once that branch and debris breaks that window, that's not your concern. Your concern is the wind and water into the structure. That wind and water puts additional pressure on the outside of your home. That water puts additional moisture into your home, weakening the drywall. With a failed drywall system, now you have that wind pushing upward on your roof deck. Once one item fails, they all start failing.
The team will take most of the day to switch out the window and door, replacing the framing and making sure they've sealed it up so no moisture can get in. Since the Perks family moved into this house in the late 1990s, millions of other people have moved to Florida, pushing our state population over the 22 million mark. With more families moving here every day, it's critical that we make life-saving upgrades like the Perks family. No one knows that better than meteorologist Elizabeth Hart, who spent 12 years covering deadly hurricanes and their trail of destruction. She joins us from Fort Myers Beach, just west of where Hurricane Ian made landfall.
Perfect beach weather here today, but crews continue to pick up the pieces of tens of thousands of homes and businesses strewn all around Southwest Florida. Ian was one of the strongest storms to ever strike our state. But our hurricane history goes back hundreds of years and is forever intertwined with the story of Florida. Back in 1715, a Spanish fleet of ships loaded with gold and silver left Cuba and sailed up Florida's east coast on the way back to Europe. While the crew was prepared for pirate attacks, they were completely caught off guard by the weather. And one by one, the ships went down in the powerful hurricane. A pivotal moment in our hurricane history came in the early 1970s when engineer Herbert Sapper and meteorologist Robert Simpson created their namesake wind scale that helps us understand the threat that hurricanes pose to our properties and our lives. A Category 1 or 2 storm can destroy older mobile homes and cause major damage to the roofs and siding of even well-constructed homes, while a Category 3 or higher can result in the roof lifting off, exterior walls failing, and in the most extreme cases, completely destroying wood frame homes. In just the past 5 years, 3 major hurricanes have hit Florida, killing hundreds and costing billions in damage. It isn't a matter of if another hurricane will hit our state, it's when. Making hurricane upgrades now can help protect your property and potentially save your life.
Oh, we are getting so close here. Look, we've got our window already installed behind us. They're putting the finishing touches, getting the door in. I can't wait to show the Perks family what we've done with their home, getting it ready for the next big hurricane. Hey, you're watching How to Do Florida. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
The front door install is nearly locked in, and it's time to move on to the final hurricane upgrade on the Perks home. The newer shingled roof already passed inspection, but now they're doing one more tiny fix that offers huge benefits.
Let's be realistic. One of the biggest bangs for the buck, this little device right here. This is a hurricane clip, and by installing this part to the wall structure and this part to my trusses or to my rafters, we've made this home 10 times stronger than what it originally was.
The Perks are getting what's called retrofit clips. These clips attach to the wall and rafters and are secured with screws. There are also regular clips that attach to the face of the wall and the side of the rafters. The last type of clip is called a diamond clip because of its shape. This one attaches to the wall's face and the truss fits inside.
I mean, you see those hurricane videos, the roof lifting up off the house. Is that what prevents that? Is this little clip right here?
Yeah, surprisingly enough. This little clip right here, installed correctly, provides that strength to help hold that structure together.
There are multiple kinds of clips, as well as other types of roof reinforcers. The clip install means a trip up the ladder and into the attic, where the team will place and secure the retro clips to the Perks wall and rafters. Without the clips, the Perks could lose their roof in a strong tropical storm with winds of 73 miles per hour or less. Now with the clips, the Perks roof can potentially withstand winds up to 115 miles per hour from a weak Category 3 hurricane.
In all honesty, hurricanes scare me because they're so unpredictable. We've seen them come so close and then them turn at the very last minute. So you have to be prepared no matter what.
With the last of the upgrades finished, the Perks move their furniture back into place, and Clarissa enjoys the view from her new office window. With all the work wrapped, Inspector Glenn checks all the upgrades.
So Glenn, when you first came here and did the inspection on the Perks home, you said it wasn't in a good spot for high winds or a storm. You've had a lot of work done to it. How do you feel now?
Well, we've really made this home stronger. We've installed hurricane clips to the rafters. From there, we've installed the impact windows, impact door by strengthening the roof-to-wall connections, by strengthening the opening protection. They've got a better home for tomorrow.
The Perks couldn't agree more.
Now I feel so much safer. It's amazing. I don't have to worry about something flying through the window, the door, you know, the tie downs on the roof. I do feel so much safer.
I mean, we're definitely going to have more peace of mind going into hurricane season this year than we have
Without
in
a
past
doubt.
years.
What a transformation for the Perks family. From windows and a roof that was vulnerable to high winds, to now a home that's stronger, ready for that next big storm. I want to encourage you to make upgrades to keep your family safe. Well, thank you for watching this special edition of How to Do Florida. Get hurricane ready.
If you would like more information about how to get hurricane ready, please visit mysafefloridahome.com. And remember, stronger homes mean a safer Florida.